This week's US CQM Forecast Alert is economic growth rate in 2024 Q4 is likely to exceed 3%. This week, we updated the CQM's endogenous variables such as personal income and consumption expenditure for November and the final figure for 2024 Q3 GDP. November retail sales of automobiles grew 2.6%, beating the ARIMA forecast of 0.19% significantly, and contributed to the upward revision of personal consumption expenditures. On the expenditure side, due to the November PCE update, the revision of 2024 Q3 GDP and November retail sales, real personal consumption expenditures have been revised upward to nearly 3%. Economic growth in 2024 Q4 is being led by personal consumption expenditures. In particular, auto retail sales grew 2.63% in November, well above the ARIMA forecast of 0.19%. As a result, nominal auto PCE for 2024 Q4 was revised upward significantly from 5.6% to 13.1%. And real auto PCE was adjusted upward from minus 0.9% to 6.1%. On the income side, updating the November personal income and the 2024 Q3 GDP have revised the compensation of employees upwards from 5.3% to 5.8%. The CQM, both non-farm proprietors income and corporate profit, are estimated by Retail Sales and Industrial Production Index. The increase in corporate profit significantly outweighed the increase in non-farm proprietors income. November retail sales were significantly higher than the ARIMA forecast, while IP was lower than the ARIMA forecast. A feared rise in inflation had halted. Headline inflation had fallen to 2%. The GDP price deflator, which is used to calculate real GDP on the income side, was revised down by 0.17% to 1.86%. As a result, the growth rates on both the expenditure and income side have been revised upward to 2.72% and 3.54% respectively. The average growth rate of both sides as a better measure of economic growth is now 3.13%, exceeding 3%. Conclusion from this week's US CQM Forecast Alert. The first, led by personal consumption expenditure, economic growth rate is likely to exceed 3%. The second, inflation will stop rising and stabilize at around 2%. The third, unless extremely bad economic indicators are released, the policy rate is likely to remain unchanged at the FOMC meeting on January 28 to 29, which is held the day before the release of advanced 2024 Q4 GDP figures. Therefore, the cuts will likely be postponed until the FOMC meeting on March 18 to 19. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast.